Oh my goodness, it's my favorite time of year again. Spring is blooming, the supers are boothin'. That's right, we're back. It's Superbooth 2024, and hooey, it's been a doozy. Let's take a look, let's talk about all the cool hardware, all the cool modules, and let's get right into it. Superbooth is one of the last big old great synth meetups where a bunch of makers come together and show off all their stuff. It started as kind of like a little, miniature, literal multi-booth inside of Music Mess, I think it was, back in the day, for smaller makers who maybe couldn't afford a real table at Music Mess or some of these bigger events to all kind of pool together and sort of show off their stuff. It was fostered by Dieter Doepfer, I believe, and the guy who runs Schneider's Lot and Air Schneider. So two really cool guys who are instrumental in the community, and they made a cool little festival. They brought it back to Berlin, and now it runs kind of in the same effect, but just much larger. So a bunch of makers come. For a lot of them, it's a really good shot to show off their gear, talk to the community, and kind of just have a good time. It's a prime time for smaller brands to come in, try to make a big splash, and it's a great opportunity for larger brands to use the spotlight to show off cool releases and stuff like that. So let's get into them. Before we go any further though, let's just pause, take a brief moment to appreciate how much time and energy and creative goes into creating an instrument, and how much it really is brave to go out on a limb and travel to Berlin and show off your instrument to a bunch of different people and have cameras and crazy foreign people, yell at you and give you currywurst and then stick cameras in your face and be like, explain this stuff. It can be really intimidating. So, let's be nice, even if we have criticisms, which Lord knows that I have criticisms. So yeah, let's just appreciate that there are really cool people doing really cool work out there, and sometimes videos on the internet don't show how cool these people can be. All right, so let's start with the hardware. So synths, drum machines, I'm gonna stick to stuff that is brand new at Superbooth, at least to me. We're gonna kind of avoid reskins, it's like new colorways or just very slight updates. So sorry, Chompy, Korg Minilog, ASM Hydra Synth. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk about things that just come in new colors or materials now. So let's get into it, starting with the Love Holton guy made a cool drum synth. It looks super Wes Anderson. After that, we got ALM. They have made their MFX into a pedal. It looks pretty cool. I mean, I love the MFX, so having it as a pedal where you could grab and go, that'll be pretty sick. Love to see it. Arturia Polybrute. This thing is sick. It's beige, I love that. It's very analog, very beefy, and I watched the Loop Pop video on it, the full touch keyboard. Just go watch the video. It looks very cool. It looks really expressive, and it looks like they've really elevated this, key bed to the next level in ways that maybe the Osmos or some of the Aftertouch stuff just feels a little bit clunky. Speaking of polysynths, Dreadbox, they got the Murmux now as a 6-voice or 8-voice poly. I don't know. It's the Murmux, so it's got carpet on the side. It's pretty cool, it looks pretty chunky, it looks pretty big. I don't know, fun, I guess. You already know that I'm a Bastel boy. So I just got the Time Plus in the mail, and I just got the real faceplate for Crust. So videos incoming of these two bad boys, which are the coolest shit in the world. Time Plus is just the coolest take on a digital tape delay that you could ever imagine. It's got little robots that help you move all the knobs, delicious lights, it's metal enclosure, it's incredibly playable. I could talk about it for days. It's wonderful, it's great. We love to see it, we love to play with it. I'm just gonna put that bad boy right there. Now, Crust, also fun little module. It's probably my favorite of all of the pizza firmwares. It's a drum module. It's got two different layers. So it's got kind of a little bit of the Castle drum DNA in there, and I love it. It sounds absolutely massive. It's incredible. You're gonna hear a whole bunch of it on this channel real soon, trust me. All right, let's blast through a few of these bad boys. Fred's Lab, Manatee. It's in a new case. It's giving virus-y vibes, and I love that. I love the virus. Black Corporation. Now, they've come out with the Kajimi Mark II, which is a Polycobal, I believe, clone. The Polycobal, pretty cool. Kajimi, sounds great, I like it, but more interesting to me, the Ice 9 voice and expander. Now, they make a Deckard's voice and expander that I think is called Rachel, or maybe that's the expander for the, whatever, doesn't matter. Deckard's voice sounds great, sounds fantastic. So the Ice 9 as its own broken out voice also will be pretty cool. Probably very expensive though, I'm sure. Twisted Electron's new Sound Blaster synth looks pretty cool. I like Twisted Electrons. Their FM jazz is really fun. They make big, beefy synths. Love to see it. Melbourne Instruments, baby! They were the ones who made the motorized fader things. You have to touch these faders to experience it. Like the haptic response, like it feels like a real like stopped, clicked fader, and then it feels like you could spin it for days, and then you could stop. It's crazy. So anyways, they made a keyboard synth. It's fucking cool. They're really good at making synths. I like them a lot, so that's probably sick as hell. I think it is called the Delia, so check that shit out. It's probably really awesome. Probably, again, very expensive. Soma, Flux, Vlad, being weird, posting creepy shit on Maine. Once again, we love to see it. That's why we love you, Vlad, from Soma Instruments, of course. It's this weird, it's like a theremin that you rub in tantalizing ways. So yeah, that's out there. Chase Bliss, Onward, Outward. I think it's the Cooper effects Outward. Now it's Onward or something like that. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. Chase Bliss stuff is always, I'm like, this looks so cool. I wish that it was like a bigger thing than this tiny little thing that I have to fuck with at back, so whatever. Sonicware, a new little sampler from them. I love to see new Sonicware stuff. They make really accessible and fun devices. They've got limitations, but you know what else? They all run on batteries. They've all got speakers, and they make really, really cool and fun devices that are easy to pick up and play, and I think they're great entry points. I think they're great groove boxes. So yeah, check that thing out. It's a lo-fi sampler, so I think it's supposed to kind of emulate old Akai shit, which is really cool. I might need to check it out. Okay, now a heavy hitter, Moog. They came out with the Spectravox, which we've kind of known about for a while. So Moog used to do their own synth fest. I think they might still do it. It was called Moog Fest. But every year they would sell like super ritzy rich people like VIP passes, and you would like go and build a synth that like nobody else would get. And so like the DFAM was 1 year, and the Subharmonicon was 1 year, and the Spectravox was 1 year. So they always like release them, you know, like 3-4 years later. But the Spectravox is a bank of spectral, it's like a fixed filter bank spectral processor envelope follower thing, a la like Buchla 296 or like the Frap Tools Umama, whatever that thing's called. Anyways, it's really cool. It's like a vocoder, and they're super sick. These sorts of spectral processors make really, really cool effects. We love to see Moog kind of getting into some more weird stuff, especially considering that they were just bought up by that other company. One thing that was weirdly absent was this weird Polymoog that everybody saw at the Super Bowl that Andrew Huang was posting about. I'm sorry, Andrew Huang. So yeah, we didn't see that. And then we also didn't see this Labyrinth thing that was leaked, which is weird. I'm not sure if that's real, because there's a couple of things that like don't match up with Moog, like faceplate, you know, the way that they do their faceplate. There's a couple of things that are weird about it. I don't know, but it looks cool as heck. It looks kind of like two Turing machines attached to like a West Coasty style oscillator with a wave folder. So yeah, I hope that's real. But yeah, this is Friday night. Moog might pop off something on Saturday. Who the fuck knows? Okay, a few more. We got the Supercritical Redshift. This is another like virtual analog sculpting cool. It looks sick. I don't really know too much about it yet. But what I have heard, it looks cool, it looks really playable. So yeah, they make the Demon Core oscillator, which is a really cool big fat stack of super saws. So I like that. That could be really nice. UDO is making a Super 8, I don't know. It's like the Super Gemini, but on a Super 6, but not all of the Super Gemini stuff. And they're also letting you buy a better keyboard for your Super 6. I don't know. UDO, they make really cool stuff. I really, really love it. It's definitely a vibe. really well-made stuff. I'm sure it's sick. I just kind of, it's always out of my price range and out of my space range. All right, now the big stuff, Tracker Plus. Everybody was like, ah, Tracker Plus. So yeah, Tracker Plus is essentially, I'm gonna take this hat off. I don't need this motherfucking thing anymore. So Tracker Plus. So Tracker Plus is essentially Tracker Mini. They just updated. They got all the stereo stuff in there. It's a little obtuse, I think, because this is how Polyend always does this shit. But they're like, it's 16 tracks, but like 8 tracks are for like audio and like 8 tracks are for like MIDI and synths because they added the synth engines. But then someone was telling me that like you can only have like 3 synth instances over like 4 or 5 tracks. It doesn't make sense. So anyways, it's 16 tracks essentially. I don't know. But yeah, it's cool. It looks great. I still think there's no battery in there. And I still think that playing around with the synth engines and kind of interfacing with the tracker, the reason I don't have one is because interfacing with it is just a little strange. Yeah, but this one looks really cool. People who like the tracker love the thing, so I'm happy that you're happy. I hope it's everything you dreamed of and more. Menke and Whimsical Wraps, the Horizons. I don't want to just say too much about this, but this is not what I was expecting out of these two makers. I gotta say, it's definitely not for me. This is not my type of vibe, but it's interesting and it's cool that, you know, people are doing weird stuff with synthesizers. Speaking of people who are doing weird stuff with synthesizers, the landscape and eviction thing, now this is cool to me. I'm not sure if it's like there's an actual spinning. It looks cool. I want to touch it. I want to play with it, which is weird. And I gotta say, just pause for a second. Whimsical Wraps thing with Menke, I saw that and I was like, no effect. No, I'm like, and I heard the sounds that came out and I was like, and the landscape thing, I was like, whoa, I want to touch that. And then I heard like the weird sounds and people like waving it around and I was like, oh, I want to fucking do that. So I don't know, it's because they feel like there's a huge overlap of Venn diagram, but one was like, yummy, delicious, red licorice, and then another was like, ew, gross, bad licorice. Black licorice is good, kids. So it's just like old street licorice. I don't know. This is a bad analogy. But yeah, those are two weird creators came to Superbooth showing off their stuff. Loving it. Love to see it, even if some of it's not for me. I forgot to mention that Polyend made a compressor pedal too. I could honestly care less. Okay, and then by far the Superbooth winner for me, the Thomas Elroy Oberheim. His first name might be like Theodore or something. I don't fucking know. Elroy Oberheim, this synth looks incredible. It's like a bunch of Oberheim stuff in that Take 5 format. But they didn't just like stop and be like, let's just make it small and like the Take 5. They put a bunch of extra cool stuff in there. It's got like through 0 FM. And then what else did I write down on here? A whole bunch of cool, sick shit. The effects, I think, got revamped. The keyboard looks it looks beautiful. This is my dream synth here. And also I was watching this video. Can we get this guy some eye drops? The synth is too hot. He needs some eye drops. So yeah, the Oberheim, the TEO, oh man, I'm so excited I really can't wait to put my hands on one of these things. The Take 5, by the way, is incredible as well. I would rather have a Take 5 than a Prophet 5, like no cap. It's just like, it's better, it's fast, it's good to use. It's good synth. So to have the Oberheim, which makes my favorite filter, some of my favorite oscillators, to have that and just that, killing it, love it, want more of it. Okay, I feel like there were a few more things. that I forgot. Erica Synths, they came out with some module stuff, so we'll talk about it in there. Talk about people who are absolutely phenomenal on camera. I know I miss stuff, okay? There's that giant mixer thing that looks super cool. There's that semi-modular that looks like a 100 series stuff. There's a ton of like little extra things at Superbooth. I do remember one of the things that stuck with me is this synth that like a guy like put his fingers on and like moved around and wiggled. It looked like a Morphe, but like way cooler. That thing, I'll put it on screen right now. There's so much cool stuff at Superbooth, but this is all the junk that just really popped off for me. All right, so that's the hardware side of things, the self-contained, the drum machines, the synthesizers. It's modules from here on out. So it's time for the eurorack roundup. All right, we're gonna blast through a lot of these hella fast. We got Flame. Flame is back. They got a bunch of new modules I saw. Looks pretty cool. 4MS meta module. It's like you put the VCV rack inside of a rack inside of a rack. It's rackception. Good, looks cool. I'm excited to get some of the like Scanner Darkly, you know, actually in a rack, could be cool. Buchla and Tip Top. Now, bam, bada bing, bada boom, the 259 has finally arrived. Also with the frequency shifter. The frequency shifter fucking slaps. In the video, you're like, didn't seem to know what the to do with the frequency shifter. That thing is great for drums. It's great for like distorted, nasty bass lines, all sorts of cool stuff. Awesome. Also, the art stuff looks like that's imminent. I still haven't seen a price tag on it yet, but now there's like an 8-voice synth in that thing, so that's pretty cool too. Erica Synths, the Res EQ. It's like a graphic EQ that's like a resonant bank thing. Looks sick, okay? And then we got a Night Verb. It's like their tabletop units, but a verb. Oh, hey, Mr. Mako. It's the Mako Minute. Mako's gonna help me rate some of these eurorack modules here. All right, correspondent Mako's here to talk about Dre Analog. New oscillator, love to see it. Dre Analog rocks. They make some of the coolest patch programmable eurorack modules out there. I think they're highly slept on. Patching Panda, some sort of filter thing. There's 3 filters. Enjoy Electronics, some sort of touchscreen thing. There's a touch screen. RYK made the algo module. So that thing looks pretty cool, sounds pretty tight. I love to see more polyphonic stuff. I believe that one is polyphonic at least. Shackmat back with Bishop's Miscellany 2. Man, I've only said some of these words today for the first time and not just read them. But yeah, they got a bunch more modules coming out. One's like a full voice Ballista Blast. Looks super cool. Shackmat, another very slept on module maker. All their modules rock. They're very easy to use, very performative, and they're fun to push, and there's no screens. So hell yeah, go Shackmat. Danny Sound, these look like 100 series modules. I'm not really sure what they're, but they got a whole bunch of modules for you. Go check them out. Bafako, okay, they've got like a drone. The video for this was terrible. I watched a ton of videos in 2x speed. I watched so many videos, all right? And the video for this one was just droney, and like everything looked about it cool. It's like got a looper and effects and a full voice and everything, but the video was just drone soundscapey stuff. So I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to say it. It looks cool, but bad demo. Board Brain, they got the mixer stuff, Exelon expanders. They also got the ADAT Interface Mark II. Board Brain, some of the best utilities in the biz. Herbs and Stones arms, baby. Now this thing looks sick. It's another dual drum voice, kind of like the Crust, honestly, but you know what? Oh man, it just sounds really good. It sounds really raw. I like Herbs and Stones a ton. So arms looks really cool. Looks very simple, very playable. Love to see it. 512, new vector sequencer, numerology. It's cool, it's fun, whatever. Frap Tools, there's a VCA, there's a creative mixer, and then an actually really cool, another patch programmable, like random sample and hold, slewy type thing that would probably fit really well with their other function generator and complex oscillator. So, like to see that. Modbap just made a stereo version of Hue, which is like cool, I guess, but you know, we've already seen that. Oxy made Meta, which is an end of chain effects thing, which is pretty cool. We like to see that, I guess. Homicide is now a Eurorack module, which is cool. It's just a VST distortion that used to be big in the dubstep people. I saw an analog waveguide from this like Center for some research. That looked really nifty. I did like the look of that. That was pretty cool. WMD, the boys' new mixer, new performance mixer. It's out and about, and I love to see that. The WMD folks rock. Love to see them stuffs. Support them, babies. They also had another new module. I feel like it was like a voice looking thing. I didn't see too much about it. I just saw like 1 or 2 videos, so that's out there too. Chaos Devices got another binary system thing, which continues to be like the coolest thing in the world and also the most annoying thing to use, unfortunately. So the oscillator, I think is what they released. It sounds super, super sick. So if you're into that binary system stuff, go pick that thing up because it sounds really cool. Vermona, we got a bass drum module from Vermona now. That's awesome. Vermona rocks at drum sounds, so exciting to get a bass drum from them. Warren made a VCA. It looks pretty cool. Lots of faders, long throw faders. We like the look of that. Tube Tech. Now, they made this whole like sample sequency sampler dealy bopper thing. It looks really cool. It's like Brainstep. It looks very IDM, looks very cool. If you're into that, it's small. If you need it for your rack, go pick it up. All right, and then this is what I'm talking about. I saw this module on Infinite Digits thing. Toadstool Tech, the Ecto Core. I'm not sure what it does. I barely saw it in action, but Infinite Digits helped out with it, and it's like some small manufacturer, and it's got to do with brakes. So I'm into it. It's cool. Check it out. Go see what's up with that thing. All right, and that is basically all of the stuff that has come out at Superbooth. All right, there might be more. I know I missed things, but Jesus Christ, you know, there's just so much stuff. And the eurorack things, let me tell you, there are so many eurorack things, and I forgot about the Verbos thing. They made like a sawtooth stack. And see, it's all just about like, what you think is cool is like what you'll like go and be like, woo, that's cool, you know? So if I forgot like the thing that you thought was just like the coolest, I'm sorry, whatever. I'm not sorry. Some people are like, oh my gosh, it's the coolest sample player in the world. And some people are like, oh my gosh, it's the coolest LFO in the world. And those two people will fight each other to the death on how much they hate the other module, you know? So whatever. But yeah, you can read more about all this stuff. The coverage over at Perfect Circuit has been great. I've also been reading up on Synth Anatomy and Gear News lines as well. Sometimes they post a good link over in the pre-release hype mega thread. So that is where all of the information for this video came from. Stay tuned if you like this stuff, if you like this sort of sporadic, sort of presentation style, then hey, I'm gonna be making a bunch more videos. Eventually I'll be able to afford a Digitac 2, and right now I'm gonna be focusing on making some videos about time and crust. So if you wanna see that, subscribe. If you wanna see other videos, subscribe. I'm gonna make other videos. I'm gonna make videos. You're not even gonna be able to stop me. There's nothing you're gonna be able to do about it. Some people, they try to stop me from making videos. Those people are wrong. But Wes, they didn't announce the thing I wanted them to announce at Superbooth. They didn't talk about tone work. Elektron didn't talk about that. And that other company didn't give us an update about that thing that leaked and we thought was definitely a real thing. Well, guess what, you guys? Bigger companies and companies that know they've already got a lot of hype on something, they will often just wait, you know, and good on them. Because, you know, if Elektron would have announced some gigantic thing that would have taken over the entirety of the hype for the last weekend, that would have taken away from some of these smaller brands, that this is like one of their best chances to get some publicity and get in front of some eyes. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Make sure you check the links in the bio. You can support the channel or not. All right, I've been your pal, Wild Wombat West. Hit that like button, drop a comment, tell me your favorite way to eat spaghetti, and I will see you later.